So, Guild Wars 2 is a game that I have never played, but we have been watching some videos on it, and this video is another one that we're gonna watch right here. It's once again a video by Nice Gaming, and the title is Guild Wars 2 New Player Review. Is it worth playing? This one right here is really relevant to me, because I have never played it, but I am, like, the more videos I watch on Guild Wars, the more attracted I am to the game, and I want to play it. I just don't know when I'll find the time to step away from WoW, but hey.
Guild Wars 2 is perhaps one of the most underrated MMORPGs that we have in the genre. Even though it's over 13 years old, the MMO has managed to become even more popular as of late due to a variety of factors. The recent rise of Guild Wars 2 came at a time when the MMO genre needed it the most, so I decided to give the game a try and check out the new player experience, and after 120 hours, I'm glad to share my adventure with you. So hello game.
Also, if the chat just doesn't show up on the screen for a minute, I had to restart the program, showing up the chat as well, so feel free to type something at some point, and we will see when it fixes itself, but yeah.
Gamers, it's nice, and I hope all you MMO refugees are having a nice day. Today we'll be discussing a secretly amazing MMO, Guild Wars 2, and why there is so much hype right now. First, I want to thank all of you for 20k subs. Truly means a lot. If you're interested in more content like this, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video as it helps others to find it. With that out the way, let's get into it.
Yep.
Ah yes, what a lovely world. I think this would make for a great...
I will say, as somebody who loves transmog and also graphics, this right here looks super cool. And just the animations as well, man. It's not a boring, bland set, but it's like fire burning both inside the chest plate, the shoulders, and on the head. This is...
thumbnail. And wait, wait, what's that? Is that coming for... Yep. Okay. Anyways,
Okay.
Guild Wars 2 released way back in 2012, making it into the rare club of MMOs to see a decade of live service. The MMO has seen a huge influx of returning players and new players alike. The timing of this influx, or resurgence if you will, was quite a blessing for developer ArenaNet. Because you see, Guild Wars 2 just recently released its expansion Visions of Eternity October 28th of 2025. However, not only was there an expansion, but also on October 28th, MMO New World, at the height of its popularity after quite a comeback via the launch.
Dude, the timing of that was insane, by the way. A brand new Guild Wars expansion, and a New World announcing the shutdown. And yes, I get it. New World is supposed to like be in maintenance mode. They are not shutting down until like way later, but the second you tell MMORPG players that the game will eventually shut down, people lose all interest, because MMORPGs is a version of a game that you play where you want your progress to be like permanent, or at least valuable for years to come. So I mean, we saw this on the charts. The second they said New World was over, basically, 80% left over one day. I don't know.
Launch of Season 10 announced it will be shutting down eventually, having given its last major update. This news came as a shock to many and left a lot of people MMO homeless. The state of the MMO genre is as bleak as ever, with the most...
The really sad thing, but also kind of ironic thing to me, is that I watched a video from the Lazy Peon about the New World update. And I was like, this update looks so cool, I kinda wanna play it. And I messaged a friend of mine, linked the video, he saw it, he was like, yeah, this update is kinda cool, and it's free to people that already have the game, and that bought the previous expansion or something, right? So I was sitting here being like, maybe I'll take a day or two and just play some New World. And then the day after I sent that video to my friend, and like I had this like realization to myself, the day after the post came out about New World being dead, I'm like, what the... Wait, what? Huh? I had no idea, like, that was a roller coaster, man. Those 2 days, actual roller coaster.
Popular and stable MMOs all being 10 years or older, MMOs shutting down constantly or never even getting out of development, or some that just stay in alpha or stay in early access forever, years from release, is just kind of getting old, you know? New World players wouldn't be the only MMO refugees flocking to Guild Wars 2. A lot of creators and players from other MMOs would soon find this gem of an MMO hidden in plain sight. For those who aren't aware, I was a part of that crowd that essentially was left without a main live MMO once New World shut down, or planned its shutdown. Not only have I played it for a lot of hours, it was admittingly one of my favorite MMOs and I've done a lot of content for it. And while the timing of its shutdown aligning with a new Guild Wars 2 expansion seemed to be a flicker of light in the dark, I don't think this was the only factor. Because you see, Guild Wars 2 is a free-to-play game, making it easily among the most accessible MMORPGs. Not having to pay a box cost or a sub fee just to see if it's good and fits you makes this game very attractive to new players. There are optional expansions, but these provide a lot of content and can be bundled for a good price typically. In fact, I now own 4 of the expansions myself. As a new player, you never really feel pressured into buying the expansion outside of risking your timed rent amount expiring, but the game being free, I didn't really second guess forking out some cash for an expansion personally. And for the sake of this video, I want to show an average new player.
The graphics here look so cool though. I really like this so far. And also like can I use certain add-ons to make that action bar and also the health bar look different, or is this the default and I can't change it?
Experience and what you can expect. So aside from the Raptor that came with the expansion and Weapon Master training, I'll try to show my new player experience and a free-to-play experience. Something else I want to quickly mention is that I'm not sure how many MMOs have the ease of entry into PvP that Guild Wars 2 has. You can literally log into the game and perhaps 20 minutes or less, you're able to try the PvP arenas or just go look at your build on an even playing field. Not only that, but your full class kit is instantly unlocked with all 3 specialization slots, including elite specialization slots if you own the correlating expansion tied to it. This is huge, as it doesn't matter if you've progressed your character in the open world, and your gear also seems to be scaled with everyone else's. So for you MMO PvP enjoyers, this is a great way to test things out and test what your full future kit / build will be like. But I'm getting ahead of myself and there's a lot to discuss, so let's...
I will say for me, PvP wise, no game will probably ever come close to what Arcade was for me. PvP in Arcade was just a whole another level, bro. You had 100 versus 100 PvP, like battlegrounds basically, for the world bosses as well. The world bosses was quite important, and you often ended up having like faction versus faction fights for a world boss. So imagine 500 versus 500 like fights, and also 1v1 arena, 3v3 arena, 2v2 arena. Mostly 1v1, I really enjoyed 1v1, because there was so many good things that were good. Like, Primeval was good, Stone Arrow was good, what's it called again? The Dagger Mage as well. It's a different name, Dagger Spell, I think it was. Dude, Arcade was a great man for PvP. Also, the naval PvP was insane. I loved everything, so Arcade to me is probably peak PvP, especially for now. WoW is pretty okay, I will say. Like, it depends on the expansion, I suppose. Mists of Pandaria was unironically probably peak PvP in World of Warcraft. Never have tried Guild Wars, but once again, it's a game that I would like to try out at some point. The only thing is, it's an MMORPG. If I'm going to try out Guild Wars, I'm going to go all in for like a month or 2, play the game for 10 hours a day, and really fully understand the game. Because for MMORPGs, I don't just want to be the Andy that is paid for a sponsored stream and play it for 2 hours and be like, oh, I like or don't like this game. 2 hours of MMORPGs is not enough time to decide if you like the game or not. I want to like go all in and literally just give the game a fair chance, if I'm trying it.
Begin our adventure. I originally tried this MMO back in 2022, and honestly, I never gave it a fair shot, only putting in less than 10 hours before calling it quits. And why did I quit so early? Well, I hope you'll learn from my mistake, but My advice is to never use your level boost. Maybe for alts, but as a new player, don't use level boost. This seems so obvious in hindsight, but the expansion bundle I purchased back then came with level boost. I thought I should use them in order to properly try the PvP because I was unaware of how
Now, when you're trying a game for the first time, like, the leveling journey just teaches you so many things, and also you build a connection to your character, you learn your class more. It's like, if I was playing Classic WoW right now and got a boost to level 60, and that was my first time playing Classic WoW,
Solheim was right.
Yo, thank you for the follow here and kick, by the way. I appreciate that a lot. If I got a boost on Classic WoW, and my gameplay started at level 60, farming pre-raid Abyss, doing a Molten Core, AFKing in Alterac Valley, which is literally a valid way to gear up, by the way, I don't think I would enjoy that. The leveling journey is a vital part in just, like, teaching you about the game, taking you through the zones, showing you stuff and things.
things work, you know? And when it came to PvE, I did maybe just a couple of the story cutscenes, and then I just jetted off to see the PvP after using my boost, and this was just a huge mistake, admittingly.
Yeah.
I felt I had no reason to do the main story, and sure, there was new stories that came with my expansions, but would I even know what was going on in those, and would I appreciate it? I spent my only 10 hours played inside the PvP mist area, and honestly, I had only robbed myself of a great experience that I would eventually have in today's video. Upon returning as essentially a new player, I made a rule not to use level boosts and to hit max level, which is 80, naturally. Something about this open world is just breathtaking. This is perhaps the most dynamic world I've ever experienced in an MMO, or maybe a game in general. Not that I've played every MMO or game, obviously, but I've never felt so rewarded and immersed in my surroundings in an online environment. Not only do you get XP for exploring and discovering new areas and waypoints, but the world truly responds to player activity. There's a main storyline with full-on voice acting, none of that horribly obvious AI voice acting that's going into almost every game these days. Even random NPCs and villagers have unique voice dialogue. The story actually surprised me, but as I mentioned, I was more enticed by the open world quest and all the open world events. Each area has a heart symbol with various objectives you can do to help out the people in that area. This could come in the form of killing enemies, finding them hiding in bushes, delivering goods, throwing snowballs, shoveling something, drinking ale, or literally the most random things you can think of. And all the while this is going on, a random world event can occur right next to you, and these are very rewarding. The world is truly dynamic, and it seemed like if players ignore a hostile situation or like fail an event, then it could affect that area. So like basically making it so that you can't fast travel there, and maybe it changes the event that happens or the NPCs that spawn there or something like that. It's one of those small touches as I leveled that actually felt huge. And speaking of huge, it's a very huge map, and trust me, Guild Wars 2 veterans, this is all I've really explored thus far, so I know I barely scratched the surface. But even to me right now, having seen as little as I've seen, I'm like, yeah, this world must be very huge. As I mentioned, I want to do a free-to-play experience and do just the base game zones, however. Some of the areas in this video I had to venture to progress the story, but most I just happen to find by just choosing a direction and just going exploring. And I love that the map isn't revealed to you and that you have to really just find certain pathways or find your way to the next location, or you don't really know how much is really out there for you. I tried a couple of classes like the Thief you see here, but would eventually settle on Guardian as it was more my style that I typically play in MMOs. However, on my Thief, I got it to 45 and I ran into this funny quest where I actually had to become a pig in order to burrow for my objective. And it's cool little side quests like this that were everywhere. And most of you guys know, I'm not exactly known for being a questing enjoyer. Me have PvP brain, me strong. But no, in all seriousness, I was genuinely impressed that the side quests and stories actually had me hooked and wanting to do them. I'd make a guardian and begin finally progressing my story after spending most of my time exploring and doing zone events, as the story seemed to be the most efficient way to level from my findings. After this quest, I would go take on a world boss solo aside from some help at the end. The boss felt challenging at the time and really forced me to learn to roll its attacks or else I'd be severely punished. I'd continue exploring, and trust me, you'll hear that a lot in this video, but I like coming across these little map pieces.
I will say I really like that style of combat, by the way. And according to what I just saw there as well, apparently you can roll to dodge the mechanics, which is something that I just love so much. It's so simple as well. It's such a simple concept, but I love it. Just like, you know where the mechanic is landing, you stand there, you dodge it. It just makes so much sense. And the graphics of this game really impresses me.
Here is they give you a little cinematic of the area whilst also giving you some much needed XP.
That's a weird pause with like no sound or no music or anything. Did I just happen to press M or something? Nah. I mean, I'll take it. Cool.
I was 28 now and came across this rift barrier. Not knowing what I was getting myself into, I decided to participate by catching these shards that were shooting out of it, and then you take them and you bring them over to the rift to cause damage to it. After its destruction, a rift portal would open, and well, I don't think I'm supposed to be soloing these things, especially at my level. However, I survived, but my DPS was far from efficient, as you can see in the background. I did get lucky though. Apparently these events are happening elsewhere and other players completed it, and thus the cavalry, aka people with actual DPS, arrived. We would eventually actually complete the event. No spoilers, but I was kind of caught off guard by what followed.
Okay. Do you die? Jump over it. Jump. Bro, what are you...
So yeah, I had no idea that was going to damage me, and I made a mad dash to the exit portal. This portal, after a load screen, would land me in the middle of nowhere. Silly me, I thought it would put me where I came in at. So I was just left to explore in this frozen wasteland. I did find a cool little world boss nearby where I loaded in, so there were some other players there and it was really convenient, some easy XP, and this would level us up to level 29. After hitting level 30 in that area, I was able to continue the story, which for the most part had level requirements about every 10 or so levels if I recall. The times where I wasn't high enough to level to finish the story, I didn't feel bad. However, it was never really like, oh man, I gotta go sit in a corner killing mobs for XP. No, I was exploring a rich and dynamic, eventful world and naturally leveling from it. Every couple of levels, I would, however, test builds in the PvP mist zone or do some PvP arenas, and this helped get me my PvP fix so I wasn't just spamming dialogue options, just thinking about leveling all day. The PvP felt really fun. I'm an action combat enjoyer, but man, this is some great tab combat, and the action camera also felt great for those interested, and honestly, it has a lot of great quality of life settings with the camera and the targeting and things like that. An underrated feature of this game is definitely the underwater combat. It's actually very impressive. You get a different skill bar and combat while in the water as well. It adds an entire new layer to the world and map while providing unforeseen verticality. I didn't get to experience it, but I just know there's a cool dungeon or a cool map where like almost everything is underwater, including a final boss, and I can't wait.
I think that's super cool, by the way, but I will say I hate underwater zones, I hate underwater mobs, and I just hate everything underwater in games, man. I'm afraid of fish and shark, so water to me is just no.
To experience that. And I honestly hope it's in the World v World PvP zone. Another little thing I liked discovering were those hero challenges scattered everywhere throughout the zones. Mini challenges or fights to reward the player. Haven't really felt overwhelmed by any of them thus far, to be honest, but I like that each one has been entirely different from the last. At level 34, I would do my first dungeon. I was with a fellow new player I found via the game's in-game LFG tool. It was perfect as neither of us was overpowered, breezing through everything, and it was both of our first time. It was a decent beginner dungeon, and we succeeded on our first try. I was now level 39 and continuing the adventure. I'd start my day easy, just, swim.
Based on what I'm seeing here and the way he's describing it as well, once again, I haven't played Guild Wars, so anybody in chat feel free to inform me or in the comments down below as well. Does this game handhold you? Because the impression I'm getting is that the game does not handhold you. You're basically thrown into a world, maybe it tells you a little bit, but it seems like, for the most part, you're just out there exploring, finding things out. Which is exactly what I want in my MMORPGs, by the way. The less hand-holding, the better, as long as I understand the core mechanics of the game and the core systems of the game. Everything else, just let me find out. Let me find out which zones to go to. If I have to, like, go to a certain zone, just let me find that out. If I happen to pull a world boss on the way and die, that's just you learn. You learn, right? And that's part of the fun, just exploring things.
Catching some crabs under the water, and this was a fun area quest, but then I'd run into a very tough world boss. After attempting him solo, I got my ass whooped, but then I came back with a vengeance, and I'm gonna admit, this fight was about 15 minutes solo. I'm not gonna show you all that, so just enjoy this quick little snippet of it. But come on, I'm just a support tank. At level 42, I continued the story. However, I took a quick break and logged into my level 80 Necromancer to get my Weapon Master training, which only took like an hour of expansion story. Weapon Master training would allow for me to test weapons on my build I normally have access to once I'm level 80 and equip a certain elite specialization for. What this expansion, or rather this upgrade, did is let me, not have to wait until 80. I'd switch back to my main, and now I'm 50 after some story progress. At level 51, I finally found me an underwater hero challenge, and I was very curious if these even existed. At 54, I came across a huge boss event, and this must have been like valuable or a tough boss, because this was the most people I've seen in one area. I see a lot of people in towns, don't get me wrong, like I see people in towns constantly, like everywhere, but this was the most I've seen at one world event. I bet it gets even crazier in the non-base game zones. I must say, throughout my entire playthrough, I never had an instance of bad lag or performance, no matter where I was or how many people were around. Like, things were really smooth. I was now level 60, and here I do one of the most fun story missions where I was essentially in god mode with a new set of unique skills as I slayed what appeared to be an endless horde and then this boss right here. Then at level 61, I got to use this turret here, which was fun, and honestly there's a lot of cool little unique interactables like ballistas and interactables that you'll use like one time for one quest that you'll find in the open world, random catapults and stuff like that. Hell, even a shovel you pick up off the floor gives you a unique skill bar. One story mission had me like using a plasma rifle. It's just little stuff like that when developers put time into it, I think it's just one of those small touches you gotta appreciate. I had also been salvaging most of the gear I find as I leveled, as apparently these give you these essences of luck to consume, and I eventually caught on to that. And it's helped me get over 50% magic find thus far, which I think increases my chances of good loot drops if I recall. So I don't know what the average magic find is, if this is good or not, but it felt good to hit 50% just while leveling. I was salvaging pretty much everything. I think I stopped selling to the vendor around maybe level 10 or so. And I would like to take a moment and say, I can see why this game feels overwhelming to some at first, as it's over a decade of content and maps, and there's so many systems and things to do. And honestly, I've likely not even seen more than half that's available or half that's like, here to offer, as I'm sure the expansions may have more things for me to dig into, obviously, right? Entire new systems and stories and pieces of content, in-game loops. And as far as the story, while I admittingly skipped over a lot of the dialogue, I made sure to listen to some of it so that I was aware of what's going on.
I do feel like most MMORPGs, though, are going to be overwhelming when trying them for the first time, because, like, MMORPGs is basically a lot of things in one game. You have PvP, you have leveling, then you have PvE, you probably have dungeons, you probably have raids, you probably have world bosses. It is a whole world to immerse yourself into, right? So even if I was playing WoW for the first time as well, would it definitely be overwhelming. I mean, literally, if you take it, I took a break from retail for 2 seasons, came back, and was a little bit overwhelmed. First time I played Final Fantasy as well, really overwhelmed. But it takes a week or two and then you slowly start getting into things, right? I feel like Guild Wars would be the same. Doesn't really seem like they would have many systems that are much more overwhelming than getting into Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft. It is just a world. You need to, like, get into the world.
And of course, paid attention, as a lot of the story has you making critical decisions for your character. Something that is so underrated is indeed the level scaling of the open world. Being able to be 66 like here, but still revisit zones I may have missed or skipped over whilst.
Crisis, you want the GDK piece back, man? Can you give me, like, I need some point of views here. Can you give me a couple of things that is like, why do you want GDK piece? Why are they good for you? Both, like, for you as a person, but also for the game itself. A couple of pro GDKP reasons. Because I'm on the reason, like, I'm on the part where I don't want GDKPs to come back, but I can see some of the positive aspects.
Still having some sort of threat, so I'm not just going there, one shot in God mode and trivializing the content, not really being rewarded for being there via exploration or quests that I do in the area. I ventured into this area at level 66 that I had never been in, but it's a level 5 area that I apparently was supposed to have visited, and the mobs there scaled accordingly. This is the same reason that it didn't really matter what level I was at certain points while completing the story mode. Even at level 25, some level 10 missions felt challenging that I couldn't just steamroll the story bosses, A truly great game design. I love when devs find ways to keep old zones or old content relevant in an MMO years later.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward some leveling later, and well, it finally happened. I had finally made up for my level boosting sin, and we hit level 80 while killing these zombies during this world event randomly. This moment felt good, and I finally got my 3rd specialization slot. This was by far my favorite leveling experience in any MMO. And it's unfortunate that many will just skip it due to the boost likely like I did. And I'm sure this video was nostalgic for a lot of you, but seeing this world as a new player was, dare I say, revitalizing. This MMO is great, and I think I can potentially make this my new MMO home. I'm hoping to PvP more, as well as really see the true endgame, as I'm told hitting 80 is just getting started. I still don't have a flying mount, I still have so many expansion stories, living world stories, zones to see, builds to test, dungeons to do, ERP to try, raids to see, world v world PvP, ranked arena, tournaments, and so much more. This truly is an underrated MMO. I'm not sure why it hasn't been super popular or a household name like the World of Warcrafts or Final Fantasy XIVs of the world. Either way, I highly recommend you try this MMO, and I'm truly enjoying it. If you liked the video, please click the like button as it helps others to find it, and if you haven't done so, now's a good time to make sure you're subscribed. Thank you to all of our YouTube channel members here on screen. If you would like to help support the channel, becoming a YouTube channel member is a great and consistent way to do so. Let me know if you enjoyed the video and want to see more Guild Wars 2 content, or do a follow-up on the experience after level 80. I still have a lot to do, so the adventure isn't over. Thank you so much for watching. It's been nice.
It's been nice. I love that, because the name is Nice Gaming. That's kind of cool, man. Okay, that was a good video, by the way. As somebody who hasn't played Guild Wars before, getting like a first impressions / a review as a new person, or like, what was the title of the video again? It was a Guild Wars 2 new player review. Is it worth playing? Like, that to me is really important, because I haven't played, I am a new player, and looking for a review from a new player point of view. And I felt like that video right there answered a lot of questions, did it in a nice way, nice pacing. I liked it. I really did. The one thing I'm kind of still like interested in finding out is how, like, if we had a scale of 1 to 10, how much does the game handhold you and tell you what to do all the time? Like, you have games that always tell you exactly what to do, even has arrows guiding you where to go. How much of that versus how much do you just find things out? Right? Either way, good vid.